All right. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching. Hey, as you know, me, Chris, the other guy who does this, we are Lions fans, but we love teams that the national media ignores. And we love seeing this 5-3 start from the Cleveland Browns. You are the Lions in the AFC. Like, we are cousins, maybe even brothers. I don't know. But here's what I do know: the Cleveland Browns got to win a game that they absolutely should have won. And they did, which was fantastic, beating the Arizona Cardinals 27-0. But there is still a big question that remains, because the Cleveland Browns have been the weirdest team this year. It seems like everything is opposite. Like, no matter the turmoil, whatever's going on with Deshaun Watson, is the coach good? Isn't the coach good? I don't know. But the Browns just keep winning. And as you can see right now, as the playoffs, if the playoffs started today, they would be the 6th seed. All right. With the Bengals right behind them, which is very, very interesting to me. The other thing that's super interesting about this is you have all 4 teams from the AFC North. Who would have predicted this at the beginning of the year? All 4 teams from the AFC North, if the playoffs started right now, every single team would make it. Do I think that will continue? No, because the NFL schedule makers usually backload division games toward the back half. So every team is playing 2, 3, 4 division games in the back half of the season. And even with the Browns, they're a little earlier than most, but you're going to see that as well. But what's the one huge question that remains? And that question is, can the Cleveland Browns beat elite teams in their division? So they have a chance to prove it over the next 2 weeks. They are going to Baltimore next week, and then they are going to play at home, get some home cooking against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, so far this year, they are 1-2 in the division. They smoked the Bengals, they lost to the Steelers, and they lost to the Ravens. So when I look at this division, when I look at the standings for the AFC North, here's what I see. I see the Baltimore Ravens, especially going in and playing at Baltimore, as a house of horrors, like horrors. It is a scary place to play. The Detroit Lions went in there and just got obliterated. They went in and they got obliterated. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, like, oh man, maybe the Lions aren't as for real as I thought they were. And then the Seahawks went in and the exact same thing happened to them. The Seattle Seahawks just got chucked. All right. So, yeah, they got beat. That's no good. But at the same time, you have this Ravens team. So if the Browns can go in there with all the drama, with all the stuff that's been going on, and I think it'll be interesting to see how healthy Lamar Jackson's ankle is. All right. If they can go in there and get a W in Baltimore, then all of a sudden you realize, like, these Browns are for real. And then they play the Steelers, who, by the way, the Steelers are 5-3, and they have a negative 30 point differential. I don't know if you know this, a negative 30 point differential. Now, really, to me, this division's it is kind of amazing. And here's what I'll do. I'll even try and share this with you. The AFC North standings. We'll keep it simple right on Google. The Ravens, that is 115 positive point differential. The Steelers, that's not real. I understand Tomlin's a good coach. They don't have a quarterback. They are not a team that should be 5-3. They're not a team that should have beaten you week 2 of the season. And you should absolutely go and get some home cooking. You should be spanking them in week 11 back at home in Cleveland. And then you even have the Bengals. And that's kind of the interesting case, right? Because every year the Bengals start slow. And it seems like every year they somehow start slower than the year before, but then they recover like gangbusters. They're a good team. I understand they have a negative 7 point differential. They're a solid team. But then you have the Browns. Here they are with a 42 point differential, thanks to 27 points in the last week against the Cardinals. All right. And here they are. So we need to be looking at this. We need to be saying, like, okay, all right, Where are we at as Cleveland Browns fans? And the one big question that you have remaining is, can you beat Goliath? Can you take out the Baltimore Ravens? And in order to do that, you're going to have to get a little bit more of what you saw against the Cardinals, but you're going to actually have to be even better than that. So here's what I want to do. I want to show you kind of against the Cardinals some of the things that I felt you guys did well, and then some of the things poorly. All right. Deshaun Watson was efficient. I think that's the best way to say it. Almost 66% of his passes completed, 64, 65, something like that. 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, only took 1 sack, threw the ball short, threw the ball medium, and threw the ball deep. Thank you. All right. So he hit at all 3 levels. You ran not particularly well. And I'm not saying a lot of teams have ran well in the Cardinals, surprisingly. They're a gritty team. You ran the ball not super well. Amari Cooper continued to be Amari Cooper. You need someone else to be a solid number 2 wide receiver. Elijah Moore, for all the things that have been happening, he's not getting targets. It's just not a lot's going on there. You need Elijah Moore to step up and to be that solid number 2 wide receiver out of the slot. Defensively, you were insane. And partially, Clayton Tune is just an awful quarterback. He was not ready. You could tell, like, throwing him in against this defense, not a good idea. Okay. Only run against the Cleveland Browns. And they tried to do that for 21 times, and they only got 41 yards. This was a phenomenal team effort. And not only that, but you get the 2 interceptions, you force a fumble. Sione Takitaki with just one of the most cerebral interceptions I've seen in a while. That was really fun to watch. He played the under route, watched the QB's eyes, and as soon as the QB went to the deep out route, Sione just backpedaled into an interception like he had been doing it for years. It was really, really cool to watch. But the question remains, can you beat the big boys? Now, do you have to beat the Ravens in order to make the playoffs? No, you don't. But it would sure be helpful because you have the Ravens that could get you to 6-3. You beat the Steelers, you're at 7-3, and you're looking really good. Then you have to travel to Denver, you have to travel to LA to play the Rams, and then you have the Jags at home, and then the Bears. So I really only see 2 or 3 easy, not easy, but the Steelers I count as it should be a very winnable game. At Denver, at LA, depending on what Stafford is doing there, and against the Bears, those are games you should be winning. All right. So if you can get this game against the Ravens, all of a sudden you find yourself at about 10 wins, and you have an opportunity late in the year. You end the year against the Bengals at Cincinnati, who you've dominated for so long. And so it's there, but you guys are in the thick of it, and you're not going to be able, you're holding your breath, and you're not going to be able to take a breath until the end of the year. I'm telling you. So kind of exciting to see for all of you. But this is the one. Nobody has gone into Baltimore in the last month and said, gotcha. All right. Nobody has done it. Can you? If you can, you are a legit contender, not only for the AFC North, but for getting to the Super Bowl. If you go in there and get throttled like everybody else, maybe you're just another team that's trying to make the playoffs. And then who knows what happens when you make the playoffs, anything can happen. So hope you enjoyed the video. What do you think? Do you got a shot? You got a shot against the Ravens? Let me know what your thoughts are. And thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and see you on the next one.